Is Arukh HaShulchan Yomi Day 1369. And we would be as close to Israel in our ongoing Yitzhak. Today we're doing Simon Yordes and Rishmim Hey, Sif Chav Vav to Rishmim Vav, Sif Gimel. Vav. Okay, we're like we said at the end of yesterday, we're in the middle about discussing numbers and classes. Please, Diva Rama, but Sifshu says what I'm talking. Rama is not precise because the Yeshin name aim beer Chafei Tinokos. Around to say 25 children. Aim near Chaim Lishmo Kolam Melamed. They're not required to hire for them a Melamed. Clearly, that would seem to be not the case. In Yesharim, Yesharim seems correct. If you box me, it's less than that they require. Shulchan said if there's not enough kids in the city, they have to bust them to the next city. Near B'dvar of Super Hubish Mekavan says to Shari Shem Shikosu Kane who Kipshuto. That it seems that he holds like the test of the Rosh Hashanah that it's Kipshuto. You don't have to hire Malamek. That right to Mat Pim, it's Stashi. Like Karaska should be honored, they have to ship them to the next city. It's impossible to say that if the less 25, they will just be Mavato Teicha. Maybe the Ramah meant to teach him some other manner. Still, he should have explained it. Should have clarified that. Unclear. We can raise the question. There are 25 kids in the city. Some of the people say we'll learn on our own with our children. Some others are not capable of learning with their own children. We can't compel the parents who are capable of learning with their own children to participate in hiring a teacher. It's logically that they can't compel. So you have to bring them to another city, like previously, or just they should hire a teacher, even though they're less than 25. That's when they have the wherewithal. Otherwise, you have to help them out. Then automatically, come over time with Torah. Klolius should be here, just like you have to do for general learning in the city. Everybody has to pay for that. As we've seen previously. Chaf Ches. The Barboim Mukmin and Rushloch Duchna. So when they're 40, you take an assistant. Chamishim and the 50 Sarshim Lam, you have to have two teachers. Nechlik Rabbeinu Avosenu, our rabbis have argued. The Rabbi Rabbeinu Yarav and Mukhasev, according to that, Mimrak Yeshua Michafei, once they're more than 25, Tzarech Reish Duchna and Rabbi need assistant until 40. Yes, Rabbi Chamishim Sarshim, and when there's between 40 and 50, you already require two. The Biyosa Skum Zetzar Shnayim Reish Duchna, more than 50, require two plus an assistant. Only if they really actually have 40, they require an assistant. But if it's less than 40, ain't so you don't require an assistant. Also with 2 you need, with 50 you need 2. Less than 50, ain't so you don't need 2. But he says it goes like the first opinion Einshah. For that, you should know there are some great sources who said as a teacher, I can testify. It's not easy with 25 kids. So it's not 25 is too much, but I have a certain base. 10 or 12 is enough. That is the Baruch Franco, the name of the Amunah Shmuel, and Pesach Tshuva. Nevertheless, it all has to do with the teacher. According to the kids. Really? That's a pella. Says Shuri Chazal won't change forever. I'm not sure why he says that. Obviously, it has to do with Hakol Fi Ador. It's Hakol Fi. It said Fi Amam and Tinoikas. I guess he means that the basic premise abides, but it fluctuates based on other extrinsic conditions. And the bracket says, "Okay, again, I'm not sure why he's saying that Shuri Chazal don't change. Okay, but anyway, like I said, the way to resolve this, he's talking about the core shear, but in fact, it is relative. Chavtes. Kasar ben Ramah b'Sof Simon Zeh. The Ramah writes in the end of Simon. Rav Hayosh should be here, a rabbi who's living in the city and teaches to the masses. The Chacham can also come and teach them. Even if he somewhat undermines the income of the first one. Says whether Kila accept the first one as a rabbi. No, the process Mosaic gets a salary in this, and they're going to deprive him of at least part of the salary. Nevertheless, Yochel Hashem Lavola to a Shem saying guy can come live there, Laxi Kabonus, and to assume a rabbinate, Bechol Davar, Korishan, and all matters like first one he moved Godol, if he's a great person, the royal Kakan for that position. But if a Chacham comes as a guest in the city, he should not deprive the livelihood of the rabbi who lives there. Last of chupas to kiddushin, to take the lucrative positions of being masad or kiddushin, and take the income which comes from there. Because that is the designated for the rabbi who lives there. But if you make the chuppah and give the whatever payment you receive to the actual rabbi. But in front of Ladun. You can also adjudicate a difference of opinion between two balabatim in the city, who could come in front of him. The Shema Rav should be and Mutzah, because maybe the rabbi in the city is not impartial to both of them. But Shlam Paskin is a behetzer, where impartiality is not an issue, or to demand to have authority if it's his friends in the city. Mishok the rabbi, or somebody who is assumed to be the rabbi of the city. I feel like think about small babies, the sword, even if he seized it on his own, some sort of position. And you should not remove him from his greatness. Even though somebody comes there who's greater than him. And even his son and his grandson always take preference to others. As long as they fill the role of their ancestors in Yira, and they're a little bit smart. Yira is more important. Chachma can be, it's fungible. Especially nowadays, have smart. Places where the custom is to accept the rabbi for a certain specified contracted time. So they elect whoever they want. They have the right to do that. But anytime the community accepts upon itself, certainly if they acquiesce to the authority, no great person in the world can take precedence over him and remove him. This is all from the Ramah. This is all from the Ramah. The great people ready in Shachsham and Mina, the day the custom should call Shi Yeshua Ba'ir, 8 times the rabbi in the city. Also, Lachel Lavo Ba'ir Lishasham, no other rabbi is allowed to come to the city and take a residence there. For Sogas Vul, it is overriding a person's boundaries, the other person's boundaries, against the absolute theft. The Ramasini Cain who was with the Bismara Kama Loya Minag, because really in the old days, there was no concept that a city had a rabbi. When a Chacham came and taught Torah, automatically you got some honor and some reward, compensation. Then the second guy would come, each time a visiting rabbi. And he would do the same thing. It was true about the rabbinate in Paris. They said, they also said, in this matter, the son takes precedence. But now they've never seen such a custom of ad hoc rabbis. But rather people to say to choose a permanent rabbi to Paskin in Simheter and Cheshmisha. And even though they made a limited contract with him, so the amount of years, you can never fire him. That's the widespread minhag in Am Yisrael. Especially if you move from another city here, I'm not going to this Bible saying Rabbi was not say, but if you move the Pshita, the Shagah, anybody who comes and attempts to override his boundaries, have a Gashlan Gamor is an absolute thief. and he's no different than any other employee. In this case, even the son does not take precedence, even if he is on the same level as father. That's a vivra to score. That's a bad anyone seem to score. They want to hire the son. The father, they want to hire the son. But in any event, if he does to take the father's place adequately in Torah and Hashem, then Lama Grami Acher, why should be different than another? And we're saying, but else, that's the primary halacha. That they don't have to hire somebody else because they hired a father, because they had a contract. They don't have to continue, even though they can't remove the guy. But if somebody comes at the end of the contract and applies to be the rabbi, I guess they're no. It's really, he says the contracts are bogus. Really, that's what he's saying. Say the contracts really should be permanent, lifetime contracts. It's not binding on the son unless he's Mali Mokom Avois of Mamish. Okay, Reish Menvav. Go to Achim Shultam Torah. The great obligation of the Torah. Aleph Lima Torah Mitzvah G'dayla Yosem Mekom Mitzvah Kulam. Learning Torah is the greatest of all mitzvahs. As my niece asked me yesterday, why? I said, according to Litvasha yeshiva system, it's because Chaim says that it's Messiah makes the Kunim Oli Olamos much more than any other mitzvah. According to the more rational perspectives, such as the Rambam, it's because go Talmud and Shvei B'nei Ma'aser. So, but according to Chassidim, it's not necessarily true because their whole thrust was that Veikos transcends the importance of Torah. But Arukh HaShulchan was a Litvak, and he was a Shtika Makubo. So I think that it's going to Nefesh Chaim approach. It's greater and has more reward. Even those mitzvahs which are so great that you eat their fruit in this world, and the principle is still retained in the world to come. Talmud Torah is of equal value to all of them together. There's things which you eat their fruit in this world, and the principle is sustained in the world to come. Kibbut of the aim. But Talmud Torah corresponds in value to all of them together. Who has the capacity, the strength to tell the greatness of obligation and the greatness of mitzvah and the greatness of the reward. On the other hand, Torah is the worst of all sins. There's no way to explain it properly, no way to put it in writing. But see, it brings down the Chachmei Emes, the Zohar. Hashem and Torah and Yisrael are one. The Torah and Yisrael is only called the unique I'm not sure I say school in this context. Uniquely attached nation to Hashem. It was only got that on account of their receiving the Torah. Based on Chazal said, Torah is more precious than jewels. It's more precious than the Kohen Gadol who goes lifnai in the inner sanctuary. This is this message is not just a drash; it's compelling. The ksiv is mem pei nun yud mem. Vakriu mi pninim. So that's me pninim. It's more precious than jewels, and none of your property is equivalent in value to it. Your property is not equivalent in value, but the property of heaven is. If you do have to do a mitzvah very specifically, stop learning and go to the mitzvah. See, it says, On the other hand, it says that all which seems a contradiction. All of your uh, um, uh, not all of yours, but all chafatim, all objects are not equal to Torah, not just your objects. Even the objects and purposes of heaven are not equivalent to Torah. The mevato mitzvah osig with Talmud Torah, that you negate the mitzvah and you remain absorbed in learning. So how do we reconcile these two sources? So mitzvah mitzvah somebody else can do, leave to another person you should learn. What mitzvah somebody else can do, you do the mitzvah, even though it requires you to curtail your learning. The Shalom Parak Bakam in the base of Miran says that Afilu, the Pea, Miran calls Filu Kolam Kulo, Enoshov Dabrach Shel Torah. Even entire world is not worth one matter in Torah. Afilu calls the Shel Torah, even on the mitzvah Torah, Enoshov Dabrach Shel Torah, they're not of the same value as one word of Torah. Ayin Shab. Vein L'Shoy Keras, in came a mitzvah Shir Shas Lesa De Acher, Lama Tzkin Ater Chaim Mitzvah. So that's the case why when mitzvahs can't be done by others, we do interrupt our learning to go to the mitzvah. Zelvai Torah Lo Mitzvah Lokamu. Torah without mitzvah is nothing. Torah, I feel Torah. Anyway, it says all I have is Torah. Even Torah doesn't have. Tachas the Torah, Lilmod, Lamed, Lishol, Lasos. The purpose of Torah is to learn, to teach, to do, to preserve, and to do. Since when somebody else can do it, mitzvah's time with Limud Torah, then mitzvah learning is superior to the deed. Even though every mitzvah has great advantages up to the heavens, the Ma'alat Torah is higher than higher. Moshe Chazal, like Chazal expounded, ki ner mitzvah Torah, or mitzvahs are candles. Torah is a luminary. Mitzvahs are ner, the mitzvahs are linked to candles. Maner and begin of Yishah, just like a candle is only temporary safeguard. Mitzvah chul is mitzvah is only temporary safeguard. But Torah is like a light source. My or making low, just like light, it protects forever. After Torah making low, so the Torah protects in all situations. Torah Nemar, Torah says, "Bisalecha tanchoscha." When you walk, it leads you zelam hazeh. That's in this world. Shalchma tishmelecha. When you lay down, it preserves you. Zemisa, that's when you die. So when you arise again, it will be your conversation. Lasi lavo. That's in the dimensional future. All the words were created for Torah. And all the greatness of Moshe Rabbeinu and the Avos and all the Nevi'im who b'shvil ha-Torah. Very rich, but what would you expect? Arukh HaShulchan. That's it for today.